You've heard us talk about how much we love Zencastr.
We've told you about how awesome their podcasting platform is, how easy it is to host, record, and publish Adventures in Collecting with their all-in-one web app.
Well, now they're giving you, our listeners, the opportunity to support us and the nearly 30,000 other podcasts powered by Zencastr.
That's right. Now you can invest in the podcasts you love through Zencastr's crowdfunding campaign.
For as little as $100, join a community of other investors who seek to help Zencastr and independent podcasters like us succeed.
If you're interested in investing in Zencastr, go to wefunder.com/Zencastr or click the link in our episode description below to claim your slice of the future of podcasting.
That's wefunder.com/ZENCASTR.
Are you ready, kids? Get your parents' permission, check your mailbox, and grab your shopping cart. It's time for the Adventures in Collecting podcast.
I'm Erik.
And I'm Dave. Welcome to Adventures in Collecting, where we talk toy news, culture, and hauls,
Along with our journeys as collectors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Adventures in Collecting.
Hi.
101. It's almost like we should say this is like season 2, episode 1, but we're not doing that. It's going to be season 1 forever. Season 1 forever. So you all saw the tile. You all saw the art, the title. You know why we're here.
We're like your favorite streaming show. Only one season.
It's list season. It's list o'clock. It's time to make the lists. So with 2020, before we put 2022 in the rear view mirror forever, we of course have to go through our personal favorite, top 10 favorite, best of, whatever you want to call it, lists. And like we've done in years past, we did a halfway through 2022, and I can say personally that my list has changed quite a bit from the halfway
mine's
point.
Significantly different. I don't know if anything is still on there. Go back and listen and let me know in the comments or
something,
reviews or what have you.
Yeah,
the interwebs.
So before we get into the lists, I think we should each, again, as we've done in previous years, set up our personal ground rules that we gave ourselves. We didn't set these for each other. These were personal decisions. So Dave, do you want to just kind of go over your personal ground rules for your list?
Yeah, I'm always a big fan of the Dan Larson Toy Galaxy Best of the Year rules. Had to have been something I bought this year. That was most likely released this year. If it was something that was given to me, it would have been had to have been something I would have bought anyway. And extra rule, like they had to elicit some sort of. This year, a lot of this list is just kind of things that elicited joy in me.
So
it may not necessarily be like, this is the best toy. It's just something I enjoyed considerably.
There you go. All right. So my rules were, I went a little different. Full disclosure, there are a couple of things on my list that were provided as samples from some of our friends. 2 of those things were things that I probably would have not purchased on my own. However, to Dave's point, they elicited such a response from me, and they were so significant in their awesomeness that they definitely made my list. And I'm super glad to have them in my collection. So those 2 things there will be 3 things that were provided as samples. One of those 3 things I absolutely 100,000% would have bought on my own anyway. So that is definitely going to be on the list. Other than that, the rules for mine, it was a crazy year for collectibles, and I
Yeah.
did not want 1 to 2 lines of toys that had really super strong years to completely upend and take over the list. So as I've done in previous years, I've gone back to the 1 toy uh per line ish sort of thing. So I picked, well, just giving an example, because you guys know me at this point. You know that Marvel Legends and Star Wars will likely feature on the list. So there is 1 Star Wars Vintage Collection release. There is 1 Marvel Legends release on the main list. Just because those 2 lines make up the bulk of my collection, and lines like GI Joe Classified had such a strong year, that I wanted to be able to spread it out a little bit, and make me do some mental gymnastics. So you will not see any repeats on the main list. That being said, outside of the main list, we also do have some honorable mentions, right, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing? 5 each?
Yeah, we have 5.
All right. So, all that being said, let's jump in. Let's jump in and start talking about these honorable mentions. Dave, do you want to go with your one of your honorable mentions first?
Yes. I'm gonna start with one that was unexpected. Something that, for I would say about a few weeks, you couldn't escape, and also could, unless you were kind of quick enough, couldn't really find. Um, and this to me was like a good concept that I think needs to be something that's maybe not annual from the same brand, but something that I think there's no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, an appetite for. And that is the McDonald's Cactus Plant Flea Market Grown Up Happy Meal toys. I was able to get 3 out of the 4 of them, but they're weird. They're fun. Like, it was fun, and they were my toys while I was laying on a couch.
Yeah, I got my one. I got the one that I wanted. The smiley face guy. While our
Cactus Buddy, I
Cactus
believe was
Buddy.
his name.
Yeah. When I went to go visit mom in the hospital when she had her knee replaced. So that was that was my dinner. Happened to be one of the nights that I was headed in to see her. While you were
That was
coinciding, also laid up.
that
Um,
was my broken leg dinner 2 nights.
yeah, so I ended up getting that. Good one. I was not expecting that to make your list. All right. My first one. Uh, this was so close to making the list. It just kind of goes to show you how strong the year was. Um, but one of my favorite skins from Fortnite got a deluxe release in 2022 in Hasbro's Victory Royale line. Um, it is Mancake, the Victory Royale Mancake figure with the cannon and the alternate mustache faceplate. Just such an awesome figure. Those figures are kind of sleepers in general.
Yeah, they really are.
Every single one of the Victory Royale figures that I've gotten so far, um, they're just they're pinless. They're gorgeous, amazing sculpts. There's no reuse yet, except for a couple of like the repaints, skin variants. But like the characters all have like brand new sculpts, and they come with great accessories, and they're just a lot of fun. And Mancake was definitely a highlight.
Um, I'm actually gonna stay in the same game, but a different toy. So this for me would have I thought would have been like this was my like Marvel Legends 375 retro for this year, where it was just let's shout out an entire line. Um, the only thing is you can't find them, and I think that's been the big thing that's held these back, because these figures rule, and I've had fun finding them. Like I found 3 of them the other day, and I'm like, oh, like, and it happened to be 3 I needed. And the first time I saw Doggo, by the way, and that is the Jazzwares Fortnite Legendary Micro line. I just think shout out to all of them. It's the mask vibes I want with the articulation that somehow is like ridiculously very articulated. Like you can pose these and stand them up and do anything that you need to, as well as better than you think you should be able to with these.
Incredible little toy line. So my next one was something that I know was actually on my top 10 list halfway through the year and has bumped to an honorable mention, but it definitely deserves an additional shout out because I still think it's one of the best pieces that NECA has ever produced in terms of likeness, in terms of if you want to say like toyetic, playability, but it's that Halloween 2 pack featuring Dr. Loomis and the Shape. It's my favorite Michael Myers that they've done, and it's as close to the classic as we're likely going to get. Due to apparent licensing issues, and the Donald Pleasance likeness on the Dr. Loomis figure is still just it's like I have a little version of him on the shelf. Just I'm still so blown away by that 2-pack, and honestly, going by my rule, it very very much so would have still been in the top 10 were it not for another NECA release that came out late in 2022. So hint for what's to come there.
So every now and again, I jump into Eric's world, and this is one of those instances where I do for my next honorable mention. It is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Ghost Rider retro card figure. And the reason why I love it, yes, it's that Ghost Rider body, but it's the fact that it's on that Toy Biz style retro card, and everyone loves the Spider-Man line and the Fantastic Four line, and all those are the ones that kind of harken back to them or for them. Ghost Rider's my favorite character, and I loved those Toy Biz figures. I still have my Ghost Rider 1 and Mullet Blaze. And this for me is like, oh, like it's actually made me debate, like, do I need one to take out, or do I just leave this one in the package forever? Because it's it's that feeling of joy.
I still am on the fence of whether or not I want to get one. My rationale is he does show up in Spider-Man the Animated Series, and that's probably the closest we'll ever get to the way that he looked in Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I do kind of sort of have a little mini collection for Spider-Man the Animated Series, so I'm thinking about it. But awesome figure.
And it's got that cool phasing head,
yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah. Great for photography. So my next one is also Marvel Legends. So again, a hint of what's to come on my list. I've said it a million times, but the primary part of my collection, one of my primary lines is the MCU Marvel Legends. And they had an extremely strong year in that category. Khonshu, amazing Build-A-Figure. We got some characters super quick for the first time in a while, right? Like, so we have, the new Black Panther, we got Namor, we got some of the What If characters, characters from Loki, just some really, really great likenesses, some really great new sculpts. All of the Thor Love and Thunder figures, just amazing, amazing work from the Marvel Legends team. But none of those MCU figures made my top 10 because of because of an anomaly of a figure that exists. And
But the hood was last year.
yeah, no, but we got some amazing, the Toei Spider-Man, just so many fun Marvel Legends this year, in the MCU category that I just wanted to call out. Just another banner year. Can't wait for the next set of MCU Legends and what's to come. So
So who was it?
MCU Marvel Legends.
Oh, just the whole thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
just any of the pick an MCU Marvel Legend from 2022, and it's amazing. You can't go wrong with any of them. Likenesses, all that good stuff.
All right, my next one actually I think was in my top 10. I moved it out because I think there was something better, and this was one of those instances where I went with this company did something better. But I really love this, and I really love this movie. Um, and probably moving this out of the top 10 will tell me to frig off. Um, it is the Plastic Meatball Psycho Gorman Pandora 2-pack, with the early bird Star Wars style, um, I'll say accoutrement, but the that carding, which was really cool.
All right, my next one is from McFarlane. My next to last honorable mention here. Again, just going to show you how strong the year was. One of my all-time favorite Arkham series characters came to the DC multiverse in 2022 in the form of Arkham Knight Scarecrow. Just such a terrifying character design. It's my favorite version of the Scarecrow ever, literally ever. I love that story. We got some really great Arkham figures along with him, but that figure was so good, and it was so close to making the top 10. It would have been in the 10 slot. But it's such a good figure. So shout out to the team at McFarlane Toys for keeping those Arkham figures coming. The
No,
game series might be dead, but the figures are still alive.
no McFarlane's for me. Although the Blue Beetle Booster Gold 2-pack was close. Um, so my last honorable mention is I think easily the best figure in this line this year. But it just I couldn't get it into the top 10 for whatever reason. But what a and this is something that Jazzwares has done very well with the AEW figures is when they nail the likeness of one of the um, women's wrestlers, they absolutely do. Eric looks like he's
Keep
disagreeing.
going, keep going.
It's Jade Cargill.
That was going to be my last honorable mention too.
Okay. All right, that works.
There we go. Yeah, Jade Brand.
A storm's coming.
Hashtag Jade Brand.
Right? That's the beginning of her entrance. A storm's coming.
I think so. Yeah. But that figure is. I'm looking at it right now. It's
stunning.
Stunning. It's absolutely stunning. And
And close second was the Chris Statlander.
And like let's be honest here. Like she is built like an action figure. Like she is.
She was Chitara on at Full Gear.
Yeah.
She was cosplaying as
but it's
or her gear was Chitara.
It's almost like the how like the the action figures, like the wrestling action figures of now you would say like legend, retro, characters like your Hulk Hogan's, your Ultimate Warriors, like your body figures. And it just first of all, like you said, they absolutely crushed the likeness. Magic, claps for Magic. I mean, he absolutely nailed that likeness. And the sculpt and just like, and I think we said this when we were talking about Chris Statlander earlier in the year, the Chris Statlander figure. Like, action figures you can pose them. Like you can get them into natural poses that look like, with all the articulation points now, that look like the way that a person stands, which is fine. Like that's great. But like when you can get an action figure into a pose that character actually hits, it makes all the difference. Like when you pose, a Shawn Michaels figure in that entrance pose, like that he does in the ring, right? Like it's like, now that looks like Shawn Michaels. You just, her standing there flexing, it's like that's Jade Cargill. Like that's a little Jade Cargill, and it's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is. I I would go as far as to say it's probably the best figure they put out this year or last year, 2022. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's the best figure in the line for this
Yeah,
year. Yeah.
without question. So I'm with you on
If
that.
you and I would say like Statlander was up there too, and I think the last or the first Dance Punk too is up there.
Yeah,
But
I don't have that one, but yeah, Chris Statlander and Jade are easily the two best figures of the year from Jazzwares, in for AEW for sure. All right, so that brings us to our actual top tens now. So before, well, actually no, we'll save that. We have some number one picks from our listeners that were submitted through Instagram. So I'll just kind of keep them uh, in our headspace, and if they happen to get mentioned, we'll call them out. If not, before we get to our ones, we'll go through a couple of them.
okay,
Dave, do you want to go first with your number 10?
I can. And this is going to be I think this is going to be one of those ones that surprises Eric. This could even be on his list.
Okay.
Um this one, we're going all the way back to summertime
I'm incredulous. Continue.
when it was nice out and fun things were happening. And everyone's limbs were intact. There was a nice little gathering nice little town in New York State.
Oh, okay.
Um, up in Beacon, New York, Toy Pizza Con, and one of the exclusives. The only reason I didn't get this figure was because Eric bought it already, and then but I wanted to buy it, and then
Well, he was out.
thankfully we were.
He was out at the event. I know where you're going with this. The
Okay,
reason you couldn't get it was because I got
he
the
was
last
out.
one.
Okay, um, and then luckily we were sent one, and it is the I believe it's still under the Knights of the Slice.
Yes.
Um, Knights of the Slice brand, but is the Toy Pizza Con exclusive Perfect Diver.
Such a good figure.
It's really good. It is so big and like bulky, and the system where you can remove arms and hands. It's
Shouts to the Glios system.
the Glios system. That's right, and it is just it's something that I just enjoy so much because it's a toy like that I wish I had when I was a kid in that 3 3/4 ballpark. And it's nice to see some of that stuff evolve and but still be like cool and still have a great story and all that to it.
And while we're on the topic of friend of the pod Jesse DeStasio, if you are listening to this episode when it airs, his latest Kickstarter for the
For card
Card
slicers.
Slicers, the expansion, is live on Kickstarter and it is fully funded. So if you back it, you definitely will get you will get your cards. There's a 2-week run on it, and it ends. Oh, I'm sorry. It's called the Jagged Age. Is the expansion, and I believe you have until January 15th to back it. So yeah, it's already well over the $5,000. The threshold. So let's start unlocking those stretch goals, and shouts to friend of the pod Jesse on another successful campaign.
Yeah, and if you get the chance to head up or down or east or west to Toy Pizza Con next year, when if I would imagine there's Jesse'll have one. Hopefully, I know he's been doing that annually. Um, Jesse performed, like, it was cool. There were a lot of cool toys. Dan Larson was there. It was cool. Plunderlings,
Yep. Yep.
like, it was just a
It was
great
a good time.
outing.
Good time. We embarrassed ourselves on some arcade cabinets. It was great.
Yeah, I tried to play pinball.
It was great. All right, so sticking with the kind of the indie toy company vibe, my number 10 is one of the aforementioned um toys that was very kindly provided by the company, uh for us to review, and I was so unbelievably blown away um by having this figure in hand that it made my list. It bumped into the top 10. Um, so we've had a friend of the pod, Brian Volkweiss, on twice, and we've heard the story of RoboForce from kind of from start to finish here, and it really is uh, remarkable. It's remarkable that obtaining the license, redesigning these, the people that were involved, David Vonner, with such a pedigree in toy design, getting RoboForce back out there. Max 89 is the AKA the robot formerly known as Max Steel. Is my 10th best toy of 2022. It's just incredible. They're so big, they're so chunky. The suction cups are ridiculous on them. And to Dave's point, it's something that I absolutely would have adored as a kid. And all I kept thinking was like the places that like I would have brought this thing. It would have been in the yard. It would have been in the bathtub. Um, this thing would have gone everywhere. And Wrecker is no slouch either. But just like the paint wash, the articulation, the deco, the detail on Max 89 is just, it's such a good figure. I really, really hope that they do well so that way they can make some more robots. I know Wrecker and Max are good guys, so it would be great to get some of the bad guys. I'm not super well versed on the RoboForce lore, but a good robot toy is a good robot toy, and a great robot toy is a great robot toy. So they get my 10th spot.
It's also good slogan for a T-shirt. A good robot toy is a good robot toy, but a great robot toy is a great robot toy.
That one's for free, Brian. And Rich, if you guys are listening, that one's for free.
All right, my number 9 is, when did I become the 3 3/4 guy? But
For real.
it's the plastic meatball Fright Rags collaboration for the Halloween film figures from the original Halloween movie. Of course, Lori, Linda, and the Shape. Really managed to nail likenesses in that small, but this still looks like it was made in the late 70s kind of scale, because it's that's the vibe. It's supposed to look like it's like a Kenner Star Wars figure, so it looks like Lori, but it's so good. Like, they have fun little accessories, like they're this is what you would imagine it would have been like having the Alien toy back in the late 70s. Like, oh, here's like little murderer toys, and
Well, we know the mold
people
existed
he's chasing.
because remember,
Yeah.
Killer Bootlegs, friend of the pod, Peter Gorel, he has the original prototype mold. So like, Kenner was, pun intended, toying around with the idea of making a Michael Myers figure. So this just really brings it to life.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 9 is these did not end up at the bottom of the list together because they are lumped in this category, but this is the other figure that was a sample, a review sample. But I am not alone in the fact that this figure completely subverted expectations and rose to the top of many people's lists. In terms of top 10 toys of the year, and talking about an eliciting a emotional response from me. This figure is from a movie that I have, no joke, watched hundreds of times this year or last year, 2022, and continue to watch multiple times a week. It is my youngest daughter's favorite film, Lightyear. The SH Figure Arts, Bandai Tamashii Nations Buzz Lightyear Alpha Suit. Lightyear, frankly, has no business being as good as it is. With all of the other SH Figure Arts and SH Monster Arts releases from 2022, this figure has no business being as cool and as awesome as it is. It is just, it's amazing. It feels SH Figure Arts. If you've ever had one before, they kind of have that premium feel to it. This one has an extra premium feel to it. The finish on it, the all the different accessories, the fact that you can make him look like he does in the various parts of the film before the final sequence. He's got the laser sword, he's got the sidearm blaster, he's got the slide on laser for his wrist, the wings, hair. He's got the removable dome. He literally has everything that he needs except for socks. Which I resolved by just getting one of the $10 Mattel Lightyear figures that had the cat, so that way he now is holding socks with him. But yeah, that's my number 9. Just quick shout out, to the folks at Bandai. Thank you again for sending it out for us to take a look at, and incredible year. In terms of other releases, I mean, it could have been any of the Dragon Ball Z releases or Dragon Ball Super releases from this year, but this figure was extra special, super awesome, and now let's get a Zurg out there. Let's just do it.
All right, so number 8. My number 8 is a figure that I had wanted, and when the render came out for it, it was like you could tell that it was just going to be, this was going to be one of those figures they crushed. And similar to the fifth honorable mention, Bill and the team also have the ability to just absolutely, when it comes to likenesses, like especially of the women wrestlers, like they will, it's just like home run after home run, and they're kind of quietly under the radar as some of the best figures in the line. Minus a tank, Mattel WWE Elite 95 Shotzi.
We still need that tank. I know she's kind of over the tank.
Well, she had it again now that she was back to her babyface ways, but
We could still use a Wrecking tank. We still need a Wrecking tank for her.
But Shotzi's got the helmet. She's got the face that she's that like kind of screaming face that she's always, or the howling face, and it's just like dead on. Like it's just, okay, here's a really small version of Shotzi.
She's got the metal
like,
hands.
This human being shrunk down to tiny 6-inch scale form.
The thing that got me about that figure the most was the rips in the fishnets. So the deco actually has rips in the fishnets, which I thought was just so good. Bill, shouts to Bill. All right, so my number 8 is my NECA figure for the list. This is what bumped the unexpectedly, honestly, bumped the Halloween 2-pack off the list. again, a figure that came out late in 2022, but I know impressed a lot of people, myself included. It is the armored version of the Last Ronin. So it's not a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure that really fits in with the rest of my collection, seeing as how I pretty much stick to the movies. But I loved the comic graphic novel now at this point, but the story was just so compelling, and it was so damn sad. um but I love what they did with the character. The accessories are unbelievable. Again, attention to detail, the way that you can customize things with the figure by getting different looks. um it's just so good. It's such a good figure. And props to NECA for really listening to fan feedback from a couple years ago. We know how long it takes to get changes into action figures. When you make things a certain way, and not to be bringing on a dead horse back to life to beat it again, but you know with all the problems they were having with some of the articulation and paint on joints, and figures kind of coming out of the box and breaking, these new NECA figures from the last like year and a half to 2 years have just been aces. Like, straight out of the box, you don't need to heat anything up anymore. Like, they just move great, they look great, they come with great accessories, nothing is fragile. It's just so good. So yeah, that's the Last Ronin, the armored version of the Last Ronin.
So my number 7 is this is how good this year was. That I was like, this was a fight.
How good was it?
It was good. Or at least for toys it was. So it was a fight to try to figure out where to put this. And this for me was kind of like the only place I could put it. So the sequel to last year's winner of my list, down to number 7, but you get the really kind of cool human live version, like just old guy with no makeup version of Papa Emeritus 2. It is the Super 7 Ultimate Papa Emeritus 2.
Yeah, this full disclosure, this figure would have been on my list. Dave and I had a pregame discussion about whether or not he had made Dave's list or not, because he is also one of my favorite figures of the year. But again, with that rule, I wanted to make sure that he found his way onto one of the lists.
Yeah, as a Ghost fan, I just couldn't not.
Same. Yeah, he's friend of the pod, Kyle. Congratulations. You continue to make these amazing Ghost figures.
Yeah, I look forward to any future Papas.
Papas.
We've got 2. We've got, I guess, technically 3 more.
Get me some a nameless ghoul or two. Yeah, they're just so good. It's funny, Dave, because actually that's the slot that he would have been on my list. He would have been at number 7, where he has been.
When you see the rest of mine, you'll be like, yeah, that makes sense.
I think you'll say the same for mine. But my number 7 is a Super 7 figure still. It is a Super 7 Ultimate figure. I did get a few of those this year, or last year in 2022. And this one completely, oh my goodness, took me by surprise. I got it during one of Entertainment Earth's holiday sales. And I was really, really surprised. So the first half of 2022, the Super 7 Ultimate War Paint Conan was my Super 7 Ultimate on the list, and that figure's still awesome. But this one, like I said, just really, really took me by surprise. It's actually something that I poked fun at both when Super 7 announced this and when Hasbro announced their kind of version of it. How do you call it a transformer if it doesn't transform? But the Super 7 Ultimate Optimus Prime is just such a fun figure. Like, it's just, I honestly, it's one of those ones where, like, I have not been able to put it down. I just keep posing it and putting it in different places on my desk, and like he's gesturing and pointing to things, and he comes with a giant surfboard, and he comes with the basketball. Um, it's just it's a really, really wildly good figure, and it's a fun scale too, because like, yeah, it's a 7-inch, Ultimates figure, but he's a little bit like taller than 7 inches, which makes him look really. It's like a really fun scale to like see him next to a G.I. Joe or next to like a Marvel Legends Spider-Man. Even though those scales don't actually make sense, obviously. It's a fun scale to put him in. So, I now have my little core class G1 Optimus, and I have my animated series Super 7 one. So I guess I'm on the hook for at least a Megatron. So let's see if Megatron makes the list in 2023.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
This segment is brought to you by our friends at Chubsy Wubsy Toys. A traditional mom-and-pop toy store in Little Falls, New Jersey, Chubsy Wubsy Toys brings you the best new toys from the brands you love without the hassle of pounding the pavement searching for them at larger retail stores. Visit them in person at 106 Main Street in Little Falls, New Jersey, or online at ChubsyWubsy.com. That's ChubsyWubsy.com. And tell them Adventures in Collecting sent you.
Pop into a new career with CGC, the world leader in pop culture collectibles grading. CGC is seeking world-class Funko Pop experts to lead a new division dedicated to authenticating and grading collectible toys. This is an incredible opportunity to help build a new grading service in a hot collectibles category. Think you can play the part? Apply today at cgcgrading.com/careers. That's cgcgrading.com/careers.
Face it, shaker bottles suck. Your shakes always come out clumpy and they're a pain to clean.
You're right, Dave. That's why I decided to ditch my shaker bottle for good and get myself a BlendJet 2 portable blender. It makes perfectly blended shakes in just 20 seconds.
BlendJet 2 is portable, so you can blend up a smoothie at work, a protein shake at the gym, or even a margarita on the beach. It's small enough to fit in a cup holder, but powerful enough to blast through tough ingredients like ice and frozen fruit with ease.
BlendJet 2 is whisper quiet, so you can make your morning smoothie without waking up the whole house. It lasts for over 15 blends and recharges quickly via USB-C.
Best of all, BlendJet 2 cleans itself. Just blend water with a drop of soap and you're good to go.
With an array of colors, patterns, or even Disney-inspired designs to choose from, show off your personality while you're blending up something delicious on the go.
What are you waiting for? Go to blendjet.com and grab yours today. And be sure to use the promo code AIC12 to get 12% off your order and free 2-day shipping. So Eric, I ran to the store today and I was doing that power walking thing to the toy aisle. The guy next to me was too, and guess what happened?
You were both headed for the same figure, weren't you?
Yep, but I got there first.
Now that's a close shave.
You know what else is? A nice trim thanks to this show's sponsor, Manscaped.
You're dang right, Dave. And that's the kind of close shave I can get behind, and you all should too. I just used the Mower 4.0 with its cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 4000K LED spotlight if you need a more precise shave.
And if you thought that was good, you can take your grooming game even further. You can take it to the next level. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer.
And don't forget about their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner. They'll change the way you approach your hygiene routine. Trust me when I say this, guys. Your balls will thank you.
Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. Get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AIC at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 14 million balls.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with code AIC. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
And now, back to the show.
So every year, there's always one that's like under the wire, just gets in just before the end of the year. And this one happened to ship just before the end of the year. And it is, you'd think Series 1 was just like, oh, these turned out great. And then there were these other two figures that are due to come. And it was just a question of when. And all this does is give me hope that or give you the reason to think this is better than Series 1. So this next single card release is going to be great. And then Series 2 is probably going to be better than those. And Series 3 that we're seeing is already kind of working its way out to look like they're going to be great. Which is funny because ain't this figure great?
You worked hard for that one.
I didn't even know I was getting there. I heard myself say great a bunch of times, and I was like, wait a minute, I can connect this. Of course, I'm talking about Zombie Sailor Toys, Wrestling's Heels and Faces. Believe it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Jeff Jarrett. It's the orange card that was supposed to exist. It nails the Hasbro style likeness of Double J, but still looks like Double J. How those Hasbros have that kind of, I don't want to say cartoony look, but
It's a little bit of a caricature. I think that's a fair thing.
But I mean, this thing is just it's stunning on that card and in that scale. It's just, it turned out quite well. And you look at it and you know Danhausen's coming. Series 2's coming.
Johnny Gargano.
So, Johnny Gargano. But the bar continues to be raised for those. And, Zombie's putting them out and they're getting in people's hands and they're just, all turning out great. They've all been home runs, whether you've gotten individual figures, full series, whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And he's about to enter the world of modern scale with that same character. So Jeff Jarrett's coming into the 6-inch, or what is he saying? 7-inch, 6-inch.
I guess it's technically 6-inch scale, but it's 7-inch.
Yeah. So really excited. Exciting stuff.
Hey, Jeff Jarrett somehow every year started the year at Hammerstein, ended the year in AEW.
Yep.
With a stop in WWE around SummerSlam.
Yep, cup of coffee back at WWE, and
now he's got a tag team title match on Wednesday.
Crazy.
So
crazy. Just can't keep him down. Ain't he great?
Good for Double J. I love it.
All right, so my number 6 takes us to Marvel Legends for me. And as I mentioned in the honorable mentions, this is not an MCU figure, which is unusual for me. But it is, an iconic figure. The Black Suit Spider-Man was on my list halfway through the year, and this figure actually bumped that. It is the Amazing Fantasy debut Spider-Man Marvel Legends figure. It is on a new buck, different from the Black Suit Spider-Man and the Retro Spider-Man from 2 years ago, and it moves like no other Spider-Man buck they've done so far. and it does not have the articulated toes like the Renew Our Vows Spider-Man. It's a little bit more slender. I love the colorway on it. They just nailed those like darker, more muted colors, from that cover. He's got the little wing web attachments for underneath his arms. It's such a good figure, and it the fact that it crouches the way that it does and stays there, in that crouch position, it's just aces. It's they never need to make another Spider-Man buck. I don't think ever again, in this scale. Just continue using this one, for future Spider-Man suits, and just give it the old repaint, because they absolutely nailed it. I did not get the cell shaded animated series Spider-Man yet. I know a few people have gotten them, and I believe it's the same body as this one. But it's such a good figure. It's the best Spider-Man figure they've ever done. Period. And end of sentence. End of story. Just really exciting to have that. And two, it was one of the Spider-Man classics, the Toy Biz. With those comic packed in comics. I always wanted the debut Spider-Man in that line, and I was never able to find it. So I'm happy to finally have that in my collection.
The 3 3/4 one was pretty good too, of the Amazing Fantasy one.
Yeah. It's just, I love that darker colorway. And I mean, it was the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, among other Marvel characters that didn't get as much love as Spider-Man did. Incredible Hulk. But it was a good year for Spider-Man figures. There was a ton. And yeah. So I know a lot of people got boxes that they've been him too. I don't know if we can talk about the year of vengeance though after what happened in 2022. I don't think we could talk about that. It's like we don't talk about Bruno. Great year for Spider-Man, great Spider-Man figure.
Number 5. This is another one I got kind of late in the year. I almost forgot that I had pre-ordered it until it shipped. I'm like, oh, okay. And I opened one just for a couple photos, and just to kind of see what it was like. And I was really happy with it. It was the Bottleneck Gallery / an Ish figures, Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers. And I got all the variants of each, the different rarities and such. Word is that there's going to be a series 2 of it. It was, I wasn't. It was kind of like when we were talking about like the junk shop figures or the original Super 7 Andre,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like I got the articulation I want out of this. I don't need it to be like I want it to be a little statue where I can kind of move arms around and stuff. And that's what I got from these, and I'm very happy with them.
Yeah, I think that's probably the one major gripe with them, is that they are kind of what's the phrase, dynamically
It's
posed,
minimal. It's minimal
Yeah,
articulation.
but they are gorgeous pieces. Justin Ishmael, right, is the designer on those.
Mhm.
Did such a good job. All right, so my next one. So now we're in the top 5. So
Oh yeah, it was my number 5.
So this was also on my first half list. It was a little bit higher on my first half list. And it's still with all of the G.I. Joe classified figures that came out in 2023 or 2022, excuse me. Which they had a banner year. Of course, shouts again, they were our second annual Archie winners. You guys voted and determined that they were the toy line of the year out of 64 toy lines. And frankly, I would say if I had to pick a toy line, personally, I probably would pick G.I. Joe Classified as well. If I'm being truthful, just because they really, the releases are sparse compared to other toy lines, but each one of them is just a home run after a home run after a home run. It's unbelievable what they're currently doing with that line, and like the way that they're taking their time. We got Serpentor this year. We got Dr. Mindbender. We got Stalker. We got the Tiger Force variant of Outback, which was originally a UK exclusive, back in the Real American Hero days. The Crimson Twins. We got so many characters this year, but it's not every day that one of your favorite action figures ever gets re-released in a modern way. And for me, that's Crocmaster. And Crocmaster and Fiona, that 2-pack is still, it's my favorite G.I. Joe release, period. I mean, that Crocodile Fiona is just a beautiful action figure. And Crocmaster is still, it's such a classic design. I absolutely love the design of that character, and I love the crocodile, and it's just, for me, it's perfect. I would change absolutely nothing about any of it. And again, goes to show you the type of year that 2022 was, that this is number 5, that there are still 4 things ahead of this. But yeah, that's my number 5.
My number 4 is we are back to Super 7. We are back to the Super 7 Ultimates. And this, for me, as soon as I saw it, was like a must-have. And then once it was shipped, I was like, and I received it, I was like, yeah, this is perfect. From the soft goods, I'll say cloak, for lack of a better word, robe, the little, like, kind of, I'll say stand, for lack of a better word. Um, it is the Super 7 Ultimate Sorcerer Mickey.
I still haven't opened mine. I have it.
But I
haven't had a
mean,
chance
like,
to open it yet.
it's just a figure, like, it looks like how it should. You know what I mean? Like, it's when you go to the park and you get like a plush Sorcerer Mickey, like, that's what Sorcerer Mickey looks like to you. Or, if you're thinking, if you're watching Fantasia, like, to me, that's, when I saw that there was a Mickey and I saw it was going to be Sorcerer Mickey, I was like, okay, I'm on for this.
I mean, it's iconic. It's the only way he's been ever featured in a motion picture. No,
Yeah,
which is still wild to think about it.
yeah. That there's not been like a Mickey movie.
Yeah, it's Goofy even has his own movie. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I still have it. I haven't opened it yet. That was another one that I picked up during that like crazy Entertainment Earth sale towards the end of the year. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. But it looks really cool. All right, so that brings me to my number 4, right? Okay, so number 4. This was another shocker. So I'm going to blame this entirely on friend of the pod, Jay Hernandez, for so cruelly enabling me to to get this figure. Dave, you know how much I love this movie and this character. And while Diamond Select did a fine job, they did a great job with making this character in their Diamond Select action figure line. Mezco, absolutely, they made a near perfect action figure. They're Eric Draven, the Crow, in their 112 collective line. It actually gave me goosebumps opening it. Frankly, the faces are so good. The different face sculpts, just the way that the clothes sit on it. And now, no knock to Mezco at all. I can't get everything, and their figures being at the price point that they are like little sideshow or hot toys. They're little, 6-inch tall, very, very, very high end action figures. And there hasn't been one yet where I'm like, that's, nobody's going to make one like this. So I have to get this one. And when I saw Jay's pictures of the crow, I knew it was like, this is the this is the one that's going to get me. I picked it up and certainly have not looked back. It's an absolutely incredible figure. And if you are at all on the fence about, whether or not like a Mezco figure is quote unquote worth it, it's all about finding the one that just resonates with you, because once you find a character that they make that, has any sort of importance to you, they just absolutely crushed it. And it has a super premium feel from tip of toe to top of head. So that's my number 4 is the Mezco 112 Collective, Eric Draven, the Crow.
Yeah, I've been close on one occasion with the Mezcos.
Which I'm curious, which one?
It was Ghost Rider.
Oh yeah, whoa, yeah. That's an extra. That's like
Yeah.
that's a commitment.
Because he's got the bike too.
Yeah. That's I think that one's still up for pre-order places. So I think I don't think that has shipped yet. So you might still. That's one, like, wait on that Entertainment Earth to get that in stock, because you use code AIC pod at checkout at Entertainment Earth, and you get 10% off of all in stock items. So 10% off of that's a hefty chunk.
Yeah. So, somebody once said I was really excited to see one of my favorite toys when I was a kid redone in a new way.
That was me.
It was Erik.
I said that
two entries ago. And this is mine for that. Because a certain figure in a certain line was one of my favorite toys to play with, alongside another celebrity from another genre of entertainment. And once this figure came out, I was like, okay, this is going to be the one I get in this, because I've stopped myself from becoming a G.I. Joe classified person.
I'm really happy this made your list.
Because it would be such an endeavor. There would be no end. But this fits in my genre of people in wrestling. And when we saw this I had a pre-order regardless. But it was when I saw it at ZapCon when I was really like, oh, this is like, this rules. Down to the presentation and whatnot. The little footlocker. It is the G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter. It is amazing. And yeah, it for me is like, yeah, these figures are exactly the dangerous thing that they are for me. In the sense that if I tried to be like, oh, I would like to get this figure and this figure and this figure in that collection. Oh, but the twins are out and they're my favorites, but I need more bad guys. So like,
yeah, I am now, full disclosure, it has gotten away from me. Whereas when the line started, I was like, I'm just gonna get the figures that, like, I really loved when.
do you, and you'll remember this, but like, I agonized to not get Prophet Director Destro.
Oh,
just because I was like, as much as I want this,
well, that's the one that did it. That was my first ever G.I. Joe classified figure.
that would have been mine.
It was like,
too.
I can't believe this exists. I know the story of this. Like, I can't believe that this is a figure that exists. So I got that, and I was like, okay, this is my G.I. Joe classified analog. This is who is going to represent G.I. Joe classified on my shelf. And then I want to say it was like, it was really soon after that the Hasbro PulseCon, they did a gold Supreme Snake Supreme Cobra Commander, and I was like, oh well, that'd be really cool because then I'd have like the gold Destro and the gold Cobra Commander. I'm gonna do, and then it was just all downhill from there because after having two of them, I was like, I can't have them and not have Duke, and then I got Duke, and then I got Scarlet, and then I got Roadblock, and now like I'm sitting here. There are a couple figures that I have skipped. Like I wasn't crazy about Firefly, the design wise, and I've skipped a couple of like the like Cobra Island Trooper, but in terms of like face characters, I think I have them all except for maybe like I didn't, like I said, I didn't get Firefly, um, but I also was never really a big Firefly guy, and I didn't get Dusty, but I think I have everyone else, which is kind of terrifying. So like it's definitely gotten away from me. It's definitely past that line has gone past the like I'm gonna get the figures that I played with as a kid and like put like the crew together to I'm pretty much getting the ones that are just readily available. It's just I will say GI Joe Classified is a straight up addiction. It's they're so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're so good.
Well, there's two more that they can make that or at least three that have been in GI Joe-ish canon, where if they made them, I would have to get them.
Well, listen, I mean, every time we get a chance to talk to them, I name drop either you or I name drop Refrigerator Perry. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
just
one.
we'll keep our fingers crossed that they can make that happen.
They canonized Piper at one point,
Oh God, that's right.
and if you remember, and I don't know how deep you dive in, but Rocky was made a comic character and
Yeah, he
was
was
supposed to be a
Yep,
figure.
yep. There was supposed to be a Rocky Balboa, GI Joe. I do know that. I've seen the pictures.
So those would be my other three.
Oh boy. Yeah,
I'm not holding my breath, but like,
a lot of people want to see Fridge because he was prominently featured in the cartoon. So,
yeah,
um,
he was a mail away.
all right. So my number 3. This figure was another one that absolutely blew my doors off. Completely took me off guard. And is quickly becoming one of my favorite toy lines to collect. Period. This character is literally my favorite fictional character of all time across all forms of media, and was made right here in the great state of New Jersey. So while I can't, the Mythic Legions bug has not gotten me. I've grabbed a couple figures here and there, but their figura obscura line is just so far they've gotten me on every release that they've done, which have only been 3. But around Halloween this year, they released the Headless Horseman and his demon steed. Absolutely incredible figure. The horse is beautiful. The horseman is beautiful. Terrifying. The different heads. The fact that he comes with like a little decapitation stump that you can port into his neck. I have had my Christopher Walken McFarlane Headless Horseman on display somewhere in a room that either the current room that I'm in or my room, when I used to, my previous bedrooms. I've always had him on display. It's just I love that character, and I never need another Headless Horseman figure ever. This one's perfect. Perfect.
All right, number 2, right?
Number 2.
And we've not hit anybody's picks yet.
No, nope. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Okay. Erik, do you smell that?
Dave, can you tell me what's that smell?
What's that smell? I want you to do it.
What's that smell?
Dookie. That can only mean one thing. It is the Mattel Creations WWE Ultimate San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, no holds barred 2-pack. Figures that I was like, oh man, like I hope they'd make these someday, but they're never gonna make this. Let alone as Ultimates, let alone as a 2-pack. From the VHS cover, slipcase, and it looks like a VHS tape. Like it was a movie that I loved as a kid and think is ridiculous as an adult. But it's
The
it's
fact,
ripping Zeus.
the fact. All right, so there's a lot to unpack here.
There's in the movie
No,
or in
just
with this choice.
no. The whole situation, because the fact that,
This was another one that we, of course, received. Thank you
and I was gonna say, like, this was it.
to
Steve, to friend of the
Steve.
pod, Steve Ozer, big friend of the community. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to kind of show this off before a lot of other folks had their the chance to get their hands on it. It's such an absolute honor to be able to show off these two wacky versions of these human beings from this very, very, very crazy movie. But the whole presentation of these is gorgeous. And then on top of it, you open it and you realize that they sculpted the "What's That Smell" face for this Hogan figure. Like, it's one of the heads you get. It is just like, it still blows my
The
mind.
only thing funnier would have been if he had that red and black outfit.
It still blows my mind that these figures exist in the way that they exist, presented in the way that they were presented, and on top of it all, we were given the opportunity to look at them early. Like, it was easily one of the highlights of 2022 for us, hands down.
And it kind of changed the game for Ultimates in the sense of like there are no rules anymore.
Yeah, and we're gonna see
Like,
Zeus again, right? Zeus is getting an elite release
it's a SummerSlam,
for
yeah.
the summer for his match against Hogan. Right when he was with Macho Man.
The real
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was Zeus and Macho Man, or was it?
Right, wasn't it Hogan and Zeus in a cage? Thought it was. Was that SummerSlam? I don't know. I might be misremembering.
I thought it was with DiBiase.
But yeah. I just, again, I like, what a cool scenario. Dave, I'm gonna have to skip my number 2.
Okay, it was Hogan and Beefcake against Zeus and Macho Man.
Did I remember a wrestling thing better than you did?
You might have.
Happening? Um,
Do you know where that SummerSlam took place?
no, that I don't know.
Meadowlands.
All right. So I am going to have to skip my number 2 because I believe it's your number 1, and
Okay.
I'm if it's not, I will do it out of order. So
If it's not, I will eat my hat.
so what I'm gonna do is
Nah, I have a feeling you're right.
we are going to read off just a few here of the number 1 suggestions from some of our followers over on Instagram. Which by the way, if you are not following us on Instagram, we are at AIC_podcast. Instagram is definitely like the home of this podcast. If you happen to be listening to the show for the first time, we always give opportunities for people to interact with the episode of the podcast that we're recording next. And we posted a story and asked folks to dump in some of their favorite figures of 2022. We also have monthly giveaways, and we're always doing fun stuff on Instagram. So definitely take a look at us over there at AIC_podcast.
Win an LJ and Cody.
Yeah, right now, win an LJ and Cody. Open till January 31st. Yeah, we'll be doing the drawing for that on February 1st. So So just a couple of these here. None of these are going to be on our list, but really good figures. So friend of the pod, shouts all the way to our good friend Sean in Qatar. He's at the Berg 511. Brody Lee at -1 2-pack was his favorite release of the year. Great 2-pack.
It's a great release.
At Echo_Bricks, Triumphant Mafex Batman. Or Mafex. Sorry, I always screw that up. I believe it's Mafex. That's another toy line that still has not dug its hooks into me. I've avoided Mafex. At Ryan Nickel 44, the Hammond Collection T-Rex. So I know that made a bunch of people's lists. Frankly, I have not bought into any of the new Jurassic Park figures. That's another one.
So it's that's the 3 3/4 scale, right?
Yeah, that's another one that's really dangerous. I can't. I love those movies, even the new ones that people are not necessarily crazy about. I just love big monsters and dinosaurs, so I need to avoid getting into that. Best friend of the pod, Craig Stuff at Craig Stuff. The 30 MDLX Optimus Prime. This is another figure that falls into the how can it be a transformer if it doesn't transformer. But this is another one that I've seen pop up on quite a few lists. Gorgeous figure from 30. And I think it's technically in the Michael Bay movie like format of Optimus. At Mile High Ground, the Vintage Collection Wandering Jedi Obi-Wan. Also an awesome figure. It's another one of those things where like this was almost going to be an honorable mention for me, but I think we'll kind of get into it when we get to the number one. But the Vintage Collection, another like banner year for the Vintage Collection. Definitely not getting as much character love, in terms of spread, if you will, as the Black Series. But again, like the figures that they've put out, like pick one from 2022. It's amazing. The sculpt is amazing.
I mean, there was even a Cosca Reeves though, like so. There's been limited spread.
Yeah. It's mostly,
and I picked that one up. That's a very good
it's mostly in the way of like they've been very kind to the Book of Boba Fett and the Mandalorian. But like, I mean, there still hasn't been 3 3/4 inch versions of the Bad Batch, period. Like any of them, and they're all in, in the Black Series already. It's like silly things like that. Like we have every version of Din Djarin Mandalorian that we could ever ask for. And Paz Vizsla, the heavy, is coming, but like he's had 2 Black Series releases already. But yes, awesome figure, Wandering Jedi, absolutely great figure. And then the last one we'll talk about here is I mentioned SH Figure Arts earlier. At Ovieda 209 says Krillin, the Krillin SH Figure Arts figure, because he came with his Destructo disc. He has his surprise face and came with a bag of sensu beans that he's holding. Definitely one of the highlights of the Dragon Ball Z offering from the year. I know that's a figure that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. With for a re-release that's much more accurate to how he appeared on the show. Awesome figure. I personally think those Dragon Ball superhero figures that came out are great. I love the concept that they're doing with Gohan, where they're giving pieces to the Gohan figure that you can use to enhance, packed in with some of the other figures, especially like the premium Bandai releases. So, super fun. So, Dave, how do you want to do this? Do you want to do your number one first, or do you want me to do my number one first? What would you like to do? Since my number 2 was going to be your number 1, why don't I do my number 1 and you close it out?
Okay.
So my number 1 should surprise no one. It's the same number 1 from my halfway through the year. It is one of my favorite toys of all time, one of my favorite releases of all time, one of my favorite pieces in my collection of all time. It comes with everything you'd ever want this to come with, and is very much so a labor of love. It's the vintage collection HasLab Razor Crest. Amazing piece. It's still something that I walk past it every single day. And every single day I stop and look at it. And I've been doing that now for just over a year. And I love that thing so much. I can't wait to see what the Star Wars team has planned for 2023 for the legacy scale for 3 3/4 for the vintage collection, because it's just been an absolute banner year. And like I was just mentioning, the 3 3/4 inch vintage collection figures have never been better. The ones that they do put out, I don't even think it's an argument. The likenesses are better. The accessories are better. The fact that you can do vehicles, at a reasonable size with them, it's the way that it should be. I mean, it's the reason why Star Wars figures, were not put out at the time, in like that doll G.I. Joe size, the 12-inch size. It's the reason why they're 3 3/4 inch figures, so that way you can world build. If there's one thing I would love to see, I mean, they released the best Darth Vader of all time in the vintage collection last year, that Dark Times Darth Vader. But if there's one thing I would absolutely love to see in 2023 from them, is just a more of a focus on the vintage collection. Just, I think it's what the brand and what Star Wars should be scale wise. So here's to hopefully a more active 2023 for the vintage collection. And my number one was halfway through the year and still is today, the HasLab Razor Crest. And that leaves us with Dave to close it out with what my number 2 was going to be and his number 1, and we will wax poetic together about it.
Speaking of crowdfunding, it took a little bit, but it really was just kind of one edition that made this really kind of take off running. And it includes, I think, hands down, the best Ultimate Edition figure that there is at this time, or at least there was at that time. I still think, but the community got behind it. They're into it. If you missed out, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, well, you could still, the raw one exists now with the Kane figure, but of course I'm talking about the Mattel Creations WWE Ultimate New Gen Arena, with the entranceway, with the ring, with the Diesel Ultimate figure, the Doink Ultimate figure, the Macho Man early bird if he got in on that, announcer slash WrestleMania 10 Macho Man, and I believe that's 10. Yeah, I think it's 10. It's late. I'm tired, but it's just what a down to when it was first announced, and you kind of saw what the entranceway was going to be with the different light patterns. Um, it's one of those play sets. I think if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a wrestling collector, you've always wanted that. Maybe the Raw letters too from the '90s, and then Titantron and maybe Nitro. But what you know, what an excellent job Bill designing, and Steve and the team at Mattel did to get this out and to make it something that is going to be lasting for wrestling fans. And it doesn't even it doesn't have to be new gen figures with it too, because you can make it work with anything. That's the cool part about the ring.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. It's just such a cool piece. And I think it was such a smart way to kind of dip their toes into something like this because of just that thing, right? Like, you know, you could pose, you could photograph in this thing pretty much anything, because even if you think about it, like, they every now and then they do, a throwback episode of Raw, or they do a throwback episode of SmackDown where they pull out the red, white, and blue ropes and the blue turnbuckles, and, like, the ring gets that
And yet,
retro vibe.
and you have enough elite wrestlers and ultimate wrestlers that could fit into that new gen
Oh
era
yeah.
where it works as well.
And they've been smartly releasing things, like the WrestleMania 9 Hogan,
The
the
Goon.
Goon, the fan takeover Shawn Michaels, the Ultimate Shawn Michaels that came out last year.
Mhm. Even the original Ultimate Brett works for
Yeah,
it.
or the Brett that the Elite, what was it, 93? Elite 93 Brett.
Oh, the SummerSlam one, yeah.
Um yeah, it's just it really is an amazing project, and they now have the tooling done for the Ultimate Ring, and we're seeing it again, with the Raw's War, ring, and if that sells well, I'm sure we'll see it again, in maybe a SmackDown ring, with an exclusive Ultimate,
Yeah, with the blue
with
ropes.
the blue ropes, and then maybe even a modern ring, you know. So I think we're gonna see it, as many times as they can get it out there in as many different ways. And hopefully we do get another crowd fund, for a different entrance way. You mentioned the raw letters. We're getting those in that Target exclusive 3-pack that should be hitting sometime this month. I know it's already starting to hit in some places, but I know the idea was that it's supposed to be out for that 30th anniversary of Raw, which is at the end of the month.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, an absolutely. I love that both of our lists were topped by two very well received, very well loved crowd funds. Um, it focuses on, shifts the focus onto the things that the community can accomplish when, that we all get behind something together. Um, and that message was loud and clear, this year. Fans of these different products and different, toy lines let their voices be heard in ways that got things across the finish line, and things that didn't get across the finish line. But yeah, it was an amazing year as a collector. It's incredible.
The Hiss
Yeah,
Tank,
yeah.
the Transformers
Yep,
one.
yep. Deathosaurus was the Transformers one. Yeah, we've seen another unprecedented year in collecting. We continue to kind of be in this amazing renaissance for toys and action figures, and I'm just really excited to see what 2023 is going to bring. We put our want lists up on Instagram a couple weeks ago, and you know,
Some of them are already kind of coming in some form or another, but
yeah, yep. But with that, those are our top 10 lists. So thank you to our friends that left us messages on Instagram with their top picks for the year, and you know uh, looking forward to, again, just seeing what 2023 brings. If you agree with our lists or vehemently disagree with our lists, we still would love to hear from you. So
yeah, share your
share your
list.
list. We'll be posting about this on Instagram. Once it goes live. So we'd love to hear what your top toys were for the year, and we'd love to hear what you think about our lists. So make sure you keep an eye out for that post. And yeah, other than a happy new year, Dave, why don't you send us home?
We'll see you next year with more top 10s.
We'll see you before next year.
Yeah, we'll see you before that, but we'll see you at this time next year with another top 10.
Thank you, dear listener, for hanging out with us today. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen, and then tell your friends to do it. Thanks also to Joe Azari, the golden voice behind our intro. Our music is Game Boy Horror by the Zombie Dandies. Find more about them both in our show notes.
Follow us on social media at AIC_podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Stop by and say hi, show us your toy hauls, and share your toy stories. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode.
Don't try this at home. Void where prohibited and some assembly required. Each sold separately, not a flying toy. Consult a physician if your toy run exceeds more than 4 hours.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.